Oops. Have my finger in the way trying to flip it back over here. Hope everyone is doing well. We're talking about medical collections today. It's actually from Q&A Friday, live Q&A Friday. Thanks for joining. Miss Manning, I am loving you. Not only do I see you on my favorite people, you probably have to let me know who you following, okay? That you are taking this financial transformation serious. I love it. She has experienced over 100-point increase, you guys, from just following everybody in their financial advice. So I am in love with you right now. I am Nativa, the Frugal Creditista, certified credit counselor, personal finance coach, and owner of MNHcreditsolutions.com, where credit transformations happen. We have two areas of our business services. We have a full coaching firm where we teach our clients to destroy their debts, grow their money, and soar their credit scores. And we also have an educational side through speaking engagements, workshops, things of this sort, free stuff. And also we have products and services where you can create your own credit transformation. Following you up. Oh, thank you. Let me follow you back. Thank you, Miss Lashana. Okay. All right, so let's get into it. I have my baby in the background who's probably going bananas out there. He's with my mom, but something about mamas, she be spoiling my babies. Okay, so let's get into medical collection. This person has 3 medical collections. She's heard about the HIPAA, which is our health information. I forgot what the HIPAA stands for. Pretty much it details the collection, marketing, and all that good stuff in reference to our medical debts. So a lot of people say, I have gotten my medical collections removed using HIPAA, right? So what exactly are they doing and what does it mean? A lot of people feel that reporting anything about our medical collections on our credit report is illegal. So we're going to talk about that as well. So let's get into it. By the way, I'm doing all this week, or have done all this week, on collections from my new book, Stop Hiding: 10 Proven Strategies to Face Debt Collectors Head On. It is available on Kindle right now via Amazon, and it'll be next week paper. So it caused some errors. I couldn't let it go out there like that. Thank you for the hearts. If you guys can tap the screen while I am on here, I will be forever in debt. And thank you for those who are on the replay. You can tap and give love as well. I appreciate that. So medical collection is like big. 47% of all debt collections are from medical debts. And if you have kept up with any of the updates with FICO, you'll know that FICO 9, the newest version, they don't even include medical debts on our credit reports until maybe about 6 months, 180 days have passed. And the reason why, there were just so many errors. And if you think about just the error portion of it, how can we get information removed from our credit report? Okay, so Lashana, I am going to, it'll be available next week. I'm following you now. You're on my Facebook, so on my page, I will announce when it is available. Hard copy, so you'll get this copy. I'll announce it. So, okay. So you have this medical debt on your credit report. Oh my gosh, where did it come from? I just told you FICO 9 is going to completely ignore paid collections and not put as much emphasis into their scoring model for medical collections, period. It has to be 180 days before it comes on our credit reports now. The issue with FICO 9, who's using it? Not too many people are using FICO 9. So unfortunately, a lot of the mortgage companies are still using FICO Classic or FICO 8. And I haven't actually ran into too many that are even using FICO 8 here in Illinois. So this means that your medical collections are still costing you some points. So that was a great movement. But until FICO 9 is fully adopted, we're still going to suffer. So to answer her question, yes, HIPAA does cover the collection laws. But I want to give you the step-by-step basis on what you do when you have a collection on your credit report. Number 1, is it valid? I know a lot of us, when we have medical debts, myself included, that was like the bulk of my bankruptcy, medical debts back in 2009. So I know what you feel, but fortunately there have been some improvements since then, especially with Obama's Affordable Care Act and there's another one as well, a stimulus package that he did. So there's been some updates that have been phenomenal. And one of the updates was some changes to HIPAA law. And so if you have this medical debt, number 1, just the debt itself, meaning it hasn't gone into collection, you're just getting the bills. Just keep in mind that your hospital, especially if it's a non-for-profit, they have hardship programs. They're supposed to tell you about these things while they are billing you like crazy, but they don't. What they typically do is put the little posters on the wall, need help, and they think that's it. They've complied with the Affordable Care Act to offer you a hardship program. So I'm telling you now, you have to be proactive and you have to ask about hardship programs. I have had a ton of people get, like, I don't even have to write a dispute letter, because all they did was call the hospital, asked about their hardship programs. Either they wiped it out completely, you do have to go through an approval process, or they were able to get something like dirt cheap. And so if you can pay something that's dirt cheap, go ahead and pay it, because if you have a collection, then you can get it removed that way. But I don't want to go ahead myself. So just, you got the bill, just keep in mind, you can't do a hardship program. What if you totally ignored the bill? It's not a collection. What do you do now? Number one, see if it has been paid. You'll be surprised how many medical collections are on our credit report have already been satisfied by our insurance company. So number one, contact the hospital. Where did this debt come from? I had insurance. Did you bill my insurance? Can I have a copy of what you billed? Contact your insurance company, even if you are no longer with that insurance provider, and see if they have received the claim, if it was filled out correctly. You will be so surprised how many debts end up in, medical debts end up in collections, simply because the hospital didn't fill out the claim correctly and the insurance didn't pay it. Now, can they retro it and try to get payment again? I have seen that. It really depends on the policy. But in my opinion, if you were boo-boo the fool and you knew you didn't fill out this information correctly, then guess what? I shouldn't be responsible for it. That's your problem. But, you know, some may disagree, but this is Nativa's opinion. So, my opinion. But I'm like, really? You didn't fill it out? You've been filling out claims for how long for this particular provider? And now you want me to pay for it because now they won't cover it because I'm no longer with them? Time has elapsed? Then that's your problem. That's not a me problem. So keep that in mind. But you want to see if it's paid. You want to see if the claim has been submitted. You want paperwork. You want to see if it hasn't been paid. Why? Can it potentially still be paid? Okay, no. Are there any hardship programs that I qualify for? Or even payment arrangements. They make some bomb settlements and payment arrangements directly with the provider. Notice I haven't mentioned the collection agency at all. In my opinion, initially, they're a non-factor. So focus on the actual bill itself first. Now, what if you're broke and you don't have any money? Then we're going to get into the HIPAA lot. People are like, you know what? I know I owe it. Nope, I wasn't insured. How do I get rid of it now? You can't get rid of the debt, but there's you have the potential of getting it off of your credit report. So, like any collection, a paid medical collection is the easiest to remove off of your credit report. Let me repeat that. A paid medical collection is the easiest to remove off of your credit report. The first thing that I do, if I know they're not insured, my client's not insured, I know that they maybe they don't qualify for a hardship program, and I know they don't have the money, first thing I do is just simply ask the bureaus for information about the debt. Can you provide me with the service that was provided? Can you let me know? I can actually read the exact thing that I'll write on this letter, just so you guys. And of course, I switch it up. If you know anything about me and dispute letters, no one should be exactly the same. Okay? Just say, you know, I have some information on my credit report. I'm reading one right now. I had insurance at the time. I know I paid my deductible. I'm not really sure what's going on. I love it if you can provide me with the name, address, and telephone number of the medical provider, the dates and the type of service, and who they were provided for. See how simple that letter is? That's all I asked for. Dates, addresses, names, service providers, who was the patient. That is it. And you can switch it up however you want to, but I literally ask for that basic information on my dispute letter to the credit bureaus, because HIPAA law doesn't always apply to collection agencies and medical providers. It also applies to the credit bureaus as well. And I keep it very simple, and I ask for that information. And typically, they'll transfer it over to the collection agency, who will try to contact the medical provider or simply submit the information that they already have. And a lot of times they don't respond. They do not respond. And that's how you get the collection agent, the removed. Because why? Think about what our credit reports are supposed to be. 100% accurate, but also verifiable. So if the bureaus aren't able to get this information from the collection agency, then that account is no longer verifiable. So it gets removed. So if you guys have any questions on that, let me know. Number 2, let me go over just what HIPAA has established. So, one of the reasons that HIPAA works is that, and by the way, if you guys have any questions, definitely go in. But one of the reasons why HIPAA works is just because it's a very stringent law. Okay, and if you are found to be in non-compliance, the fines can go up to $250,000. That's a lot of money. So if your debt is like 100 and something, 200 something, pretty much if it's like a small collection debt under a 5-figure amount, I'll even say probably under 5,000. More than likely, just by doing a simple letter to the credit bureaus, it can get removed from your credit report. Does it wipe out the debt? No. There are some states that will sue you for their medical debt. So keep that in mind. It will not wipe up the debt, but it will wipe it off of your your credit report. So, I will also say that it is legal. A lot of people think it is illegal for medical collections to be on your credit report. It is totally legal. HIPAA does not say it is illegal for you to have medical collections on your credit report. They do say it's illegal for protected information to be on your credit report. So one of the things that the bureaus have done to protect themselves, if you look at our consumer credit report, the one we receive, it'll say Cancer Treatment Centers of America on there. So we'll have that information. It'll have the medical providers information on there. But when a creditor receives a credit report, it's just going to say medical collection, and that's it. And that's because of HIPAA. They want to make sure that they are CYN, covering their behinds. And that's why they have that information on there. So keep in mind, by them saying medical collection, that is not illegal according to HIPAA law. Now, if you happen to have a report with a loan officer and it actually has Cancer Center Treatment of America, or it has, I don't know, AIDS Treatment Center, that's a HIPAA violation, and both the bureaus and the provider are responsible for that error, for letting that happen. So the main thing that you're always doing when you're repairing your credit is you are looking for little tidbits of errors like that, slipping them up, asking for just general information from the credit bureaus in a dispute letter. HIPAA law to your, I can actually give you the HIPAA law medical. It's in my book. Yes, it is. And I can tell you exactly what I asked for in the validation letter. Number one, in order for HIPAA to be legal, under HIPAA for them to legally be able to have our protected information, including our payment information, is for them to have a signed business agreement with the medical provider. Now, most of you are aware of the little sheet of paper that we sign when we are in the doctor's office. A HIPAA letter that we sign is a requirement before they even see us. They want you to sign that, and that allows them to collect information from us as far as our insurance information. It allows them to bill our insurance information. A lot of different things are in that little letter that we sign. I actually read it one time. It allows them to hire collectors as business partners in order to collect if we fail to pay them on time. So one of the things that they do is they sign that agreement with the collection agency so that they can now be business partners and now can get access to some of our protected health information. So what I asked for, I want to break down the fees. Any costs added for collection costs, late fees, medical charges, I want a full accounting. Number two, I want a copy with my signature of the HIPAA agreement that I signed in the doctor's office. And number three, until they give me all this information, they have to cease and desist any collection to the credit bureaus. Did you get that last part? Until they give me that information, they have to stop. So as soon as they get that letter, what do you do now? You go and you send a dispute letter to the credit bureau. So you can do that too. So I named three things. A, start off with the credit bureau, seeing if you can delete it just by asking that information. It comes back as unverifiable. Boom, it's deleted. Number two, send some correspondence, a validation letter to the collection agency. Once they have received your letter, you've told them to stop all communication until they can provide you with this information. You can then send a letter to the credit bureaus so that they can remove it that way. Okay, and then the very first one I mentioned is going directly to the medical provider, seeing if everything was billed correctly. Okay, if the file was claimed with the insurance company, and if you qualify for any hardship programs. So those are the three tools that I use to get medical collections removed, and they work. And I said from the onset, paid collections is better to get removed. Why? Because if this business partner, aka the collection company, no longer has a debt that they're collecting on, are they legally supposed to have any information pertaining to our medical expenses, our protected health information, even a limited portion of that protected health information? Absolutely not. It's no longer a need for them. The bill has been satisfied. Their agreement with our hospital, with our medical provider, with our doctor is gone, because the debt has gone now. So now that that's paid, then you can go back and get it removed. It's now unverifiable. The collection that's on your credit report, they no longer have access to that protected health information, no matter how limited it is. So they cannot verify, yep, this is 100% accurate, complete, and timely now? No. And that's why I'm telling you, when you have some money, and if you want to pay the collection, then simply call them up and they delete it off like that. I mean, this is the easiest thing other than personal information to get removed from your credit reports, just because of the stiff fines that are associated with it. So hopefully this information was okay. I said I was going to give you guys some websites so you can look up this info as well. Number one, you can go to privacyrights.org. Privacyrights.org. This goes over HIPAA in detail, so you can at least get some information on there. And you'll see that it's a pretty lengthy act, but if you want to read it, go ahead. Number two, My FICO forums. If you type in My FICO and HIPAA collection, medical collection, you're going to see a lot of info on how to get it removed, some tactics to get it removed, some dispute letters. Remember, you are not going to send these letters verbatim. You're going to paraphrase them, put them in your own words, tailor them to your own situation. And then creditboards.com. That one has some pretty old information on there, but they have a link to, I don't have his exact email, but if you look up YChat credit, WHYCHAT, it used to be rightchatforyou.com, but it's changed. So if you look up creditboards.com and then also Google it with HIPAA letter or medical collection or something like that, it'll pop up. And that one has like a full series, letters, step by step of what you can do. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. And I mean, it's really good. Creditboards.com, YChats, or you can look up YChat medical collection. His website might pop up. I couldn't find it under his old one, so he must have adjusted something. But that is a really, but will it regenerate once they submit documentation? Will what regenerate? Will the medical collection come back on? I can tell you this. You're going to get 3 responses back. And I'm glad you mentioned that because I wasn't going to cover that. But you're going to get 3 responses back when you, and I wrote about this, so I'm pulling it up. You're going to get 3 responses back when you do the validation letter. They'll send back 1 bill. I think that's universal collection language. They're going to send 1 bill back and say it's been verified and not pay us. And then they're going to report it as verified with the credit bureaus. So that's universal. But is that what you asked for? No, you didn't ask for a bill. You asked for a full accounting. I'll reread what you're going to ask for if you do go the validation route. I gave you 3 ways to do it, but I see you're going to go the validation route, so I'll reread it, okay? You are going to ask for a breakdown of fees. 1 bill does not break down everything, especially since late fees and some of that other stuff, medical charges, are sometimes added to that 1 bill that they're showing you. Number 2, a copy of your signature on that HIPAA agreement. You want to know, did I really give you permission? Are you a business partner? What proof do you have on your business partner? Yep, statute of limitations applies to medical debt. Number 3, they have to stop reporting. So anything can come back on your credit report. I always tell people this, anything. However, 3 things must happen. Number 1, it still must be 100% complete, 100% accurate, 100% verifiable, and timely, meaning it's not past the reporting limitation. So if those things, and it also, you must be notified. You must be notified within 5 business days of it going on your credit report. That's the number 1 thing they always fail to do. And then there has to be a certificate of accuracy that the original data furnisher, whoever is reporting this information, has to pretty much certifying this is now 100% complete, accurate, verifiable, blah, blah, blah. So anything can come back, but very rarely will they send you everything, just because HIPAA has so much teeth now. They're afraid. I taught in one of my workshops, and I'll read exactly what I told them, because A, you want to make the alleged creditor prove the bill. 3, throw HIPAA in their face if you have to. In one of my dispute letters that I do to medical providers, I have like all them laws written out. This is what I want according to HIPAA law, do this and this and this. And the one that I saw on YChat's old website did a really good job with that. And this is to the medical collection. This is not to like the credit bureaus. You don't have to put all those laws in a credit bureau dispute letter. And number 3, I tell them to get creative. Your bill is, okay, I want to read that last one. And get creative, because no one thing is work. No credit professional uses the same tactic over and over and over again. And that's why I gave you those websites, because I want you to do a little bit of reading on your own. If you know you have some medical debts, it is so important for you to understand your own rights. Okay, so privacyrights.org. And if you want to go directly to the HIPAA website, I mean, there's so many different attorney blogs. And I'm telling you, HIPAA law gets changed all the time. I actually just saw I get notifications on a collection creditor association, and they just put in for more updates on it, like literally yesterday. So that's how often this law gets updated. That's why I always tell people to focus on just like the basics of these consumer rights laws, because as long as you know your basic rights within here, you should be okay. Okay, so can HIPAA get it removed? Absolutely. Should that be your first method? First, see if you even owe this debt. The reason why we now have to wait, or bureaus now have to wait 6 months before putting this information on our credit reports, because the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found out after reviewing millions of medical debts that there were so many errors, and these errors were causing our credit scores to drop. So this is no error of our own, and we should not have to be negatively affected by their poor reporting, right? We should not be negatively affected by that. So the average drop was like 10 points. So you may say, oh, that's not that bad. But what if you need those 10 points to get a lower interest rate or to even get approved for a loan? Then it becomes bad, okay? Then, oh, thank you. Then it becomes bad. So that's why your first step is like, okay, was this even paid? Did you bill my insurance provider? Did you do a claim? Can I see a copy of that claim? Who was communicated? Like, everything's done electronically now, so they should be able to print that information for you so that you can see what's going on. You should be able to go back to your past insurance provider, yes, current or past, and find out if that claim was taken care of. I used to work for a PPO. We keep very long records of this info, so nobody should be telling you that they can't provide this information if you were insured. If you were not insured, there are a lot of protection out there. You really just got to use Google for your life. Google for your life. There's like so much information to help you with the bill. But remember, I mentioned the Affordable Care Act has now mandated that any nonprofit hospital, and most of them are nonprofit, hospital and the doctors that are associated with that hospital are supposed to let you know about their hardship programs if you cannot pay the bill. So what do? They put the little posters up there all over the hospital, in the office, but it's never, for some reason, on the actual bill. So what do? What you want to do is you inquire yourself, what hardship programs are you a part of? And do I qualify? What do I have to fill out? What do I do? You will be amazed. Oh, thank you. You will be amazed how many people have gotten like complete medical debts wiped out. Because obviously if you can't afford it, then that means that we're not the richest people in America. Who has money for that? Okay. I know my medical debts were like bananas, and I did the dummy, not knowing, which is why I come on here and talk to you guys so you can be better educated. Okay. I didn't have to use my credit card to pay for these medical debts. I could have got a lot of this stuff wiped out. Okay. Yes, they are horrible at billing. Like I tell you, this is a doctor here. Okay. I worked for the PPO, so I know they are horrible at billing. That's why I always say let's do that first. Let's see if this bill is even legit, okay? And you can get it wiped out from there, because if the bill is not legit, you don't owe it. It should come off your credit report from there. Okay, number 2. You really do owe it, but you're broke. Hardship program. Number 3, go to HIPAA route. I always start, like I said, with the credit bureaus. So I'm summarizing this for you guys. Start with the credit bureaus and just ask for basic information. Can I have the name of the provider, what happened, the type of service that was provided, who the service was provided to, any dates of service. So just basic, simple information. And why do they delete from that basic, simple information? Because of HIPAA law. It applies to not only collectors, the hospital, the providers, the marketers who receive that information, researchers, but the credit bureaus as well. So a lot of them don't even want to be bothered, okay? They're just like, oh, I'm not even going to get involved in this. Let me go ahead and just delete it. And especially if the collection agency doesn't respond. The collection agency doesn't respond for the same reason. You can also, if it happens to come back verified and not deleted, go directly to the collection agency. And you're going to ask for what? A complete breakdown of fees. You're going to ask for a copy of that agreement, showing that they do have a partnership as a business partner with the provider or the doctor, hospital, whoever you went to. And I also want to see the HIPAA form. I want to know, okay, what exactly did I agree to? Why do I do that? Because some of them have standard forms, but I know some of them just throw in crazy stuff, and I realize my clients don't read it. So it's an educational process. This is what you agreed to. Start reading those forms, okay? And then number 3, I always said a paid medical collection is Super duper duper easy. In fact, they will either agree to settle for a really decent low price just to get some money back, because it's actually one of, even though 47% of debts are medical debts, the number one debt that goes unpaid is a medical debt. So if you're like, okay, I do have a few coins I can throw at this debt, let me see if they'll accept it. They'll even offer, oh yeah, what we do here is we'll delete, especially the smaller firms. They're like, we'll just delete it. Just pay something, we'll delete it, we'll sell it in full, no problem. They'll put it in writing on their letterhead, boom, gone. You get when some of the more patients might qualify for charity care even before giving care. Yes, I did speak about that too, deadbeat docs, that there are so many. That's why I told them, Google for your life. There are so many charity care. I mean, I was shocked in Illinois. Like before I did the dummy and foul bankruptcy, I was shocked how many programs were out there that I could have pulled on. And I didn't think to do it before care. That's a great point. But if it's an emergency though, but you don't know. But that's a great point, that if you know something that's coming up, go ahead. Like when I actually got my wisdom teeth pulled out through charity care, free. I was at a regular doctor. They pointed me, like I was like, oh Lord, they're going to send me to some bootleg super hood doctor. But it was actually a real doctor's office, really nice, pulled him out for free. And it was because, I Googled. I knew that I had to get this done. I knew that my insurance was janky. It was really janky. So hopefully this info is good. If you want the websites again, my FICO has a great forum on it, privacyrights.org, HIPAA, I think it's HIPAA.com. I didn't give you guys that one. I'm sorry. Let me look it up. Maybe the deadbeat doc can give you some info. My debt-beaten doctor over there. HIPAA Survival Guide. HIPAAsurvivalguide.com. That's actually, I don't know if you guys want to get that deep in knowing your rights, but I mean, it's a really good area to get a disclosure of what your protected health information is under HIPAA. So it's just a really decent read if you know you got like a ton of medical debts, or I know some people on here are looking to be credit professionals. And it's I'm telling you, HIPAA is just one of those laws that gets updated all the time, and that's why we have some credit professionals that just specialize in medical debt, just because you have to really keep up with that information. So hopefully this answered your question. If you have any questions, want a copy of these validation letters, or even a dispute letter that I use, definitely feel free to email me, info@mnhcreditsolutions.com, info@mnhcreditsolutions.com. All right, it's Nativa, MNH Credit Solutions, the frugal creditnista. And all my specials are still going on. I am doing 100 dispute letter package. It's usually like 23. It's on sale for 15. And then next week we're going to talk about another topic. I haven't decided yet. I am marketing my credit repair kit all next week for DIYers. So maybe I'll give some tips out of there. So I'll decide this weekend based on some of you guys' questions too. But if you want to ask me questions or get copies of dispute letters and all that stuff from any of this, definitely feel free. This is still available on Kindle. If you go to store.mnhcreditsolutions.com, it's like $3.99, so that's super duper cheap. The paper one for the young lady that asked will be available next week. Amazon did approve everything, so hopefully by next week they'll have it available.